Who wants to do homework? I've got some tips for you today that will lead to learning your clients will want to do. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up or press the subscribe button. My first tip is never assign homework. Remove the word homework from your vocabulary. Instead, use more exciting learning words, exploratory words. Say things to your clients like, I wonder what would happen if, or let's do an experiment this week, or you be our eyes and ears and see what you can notice this week that'll help us understand this better. Collaborate with your clients to figure out what they want to do. Research actually shows that people are much more willing to do learning assignments if they relate to whatever the key take-home message from that session was that made the most sense to your client. So ask them, what was it we talked about today that made the biggest difference to you or made an impression on you or intrigues you? And then say, is there a way you could either use that idea to help yourself this week, or is there information you could gather that would help us understand that better for you? Tying learning assignments to what matters most to the client is going to lead to your clients wanting to carry out those assignments in between sessions. Keep what clients have agreed to do small. Don't make it take up too much time during their week. That'll make it easier for them to do it. And make sure that they have the skills to carry it out. You don't want to ask them to be doing steps 3, 4, and 5 of something where you've just practiced step 1 and 2 in therapy. And it's really important to make it relevant and interesting to the client. Let me just give you a quick example. I often like to ask people to identify thoughts connected to particular moods. Well, that sounds pretty dull and boring. But imagine if I'm working with someone who's lost their job and they're trying to do an online job search. It would be much more interesting to say to them something along these lines. You know, it sounds like you have lots of moods when you're doing this job search that slow you down. Let's jot down some of those moods here. And when you notice those moods getting kicked up this week when you're doing your job search, stop right then and notice what thoughts and images are going through your mind. Jot them down next to this list of moods. We'll be able to use that information next time to learn and figure out ways to keep your spirits up while you do your job search. And you want to start it in session. I might say to that job search client, in fact, let's start this right now. Let's imagine right now that you're doing the job search. And I want you to vividly imagine it and see what thoughts and images come to mind that might connect up with this mood of sadness. And then be quiet and give them a chance to try it, and whatever thoughts and images come to mind, have them jot it down on their worksheet. By starting it in session, clients go home with a sample of what it is you're asking them to do this week, and that increases the odds they'll be able to do it. Once you and your client come to some agreement on what they're going to be doing or observing during the week, ask them to write it down. Write down not just what they've agreed to do, but also the rationale or the reason that they're doing it. I want to remind you that it's better to have a learning rationale, not an outcome rationale. For example, you don't want to make a prediction like, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to get this good outcome. Instead, you want to say, give this a try this week. Whatever happens, you and I are going to learn something from it in next week's session. Once your client has written down what they plan to do, there's one more thing. And that is, you want to always ask them, and what obstacles might come up this week that would prevent you from doing this? Give your client a few moments of silence to think about what might interfere with them carrying out on their plan. And then you want to ask this very important question. You want to say, and how would you like to handle those? And again, be quiet. We want our clients to imagine how they could work through the obstacles that might interfere. By doing this will increase their motivation and commitment to actually following through. And if they can't think of a way to handle an obstacle, then just simply ask them, and if that happens this week and you can't do what you plan, what would you like to do instead? Finally, before your client leaves the office, support their interest and enthusiasm and curiosity with your own. Say to them something along the lines of, I'm really curious to see what you learned this week and how we can use those ideas to help ourselves next time. And after they leave, make sure you have it written in your therapy notes what it is they're doing and why they're doing it, so that when they come back to the next session, you'll have that in your mind and can say to them with some honest enthusiasm, I'm really curious, what did you find out? What happened? What did you notice and observe? Because by you showing and conveying your own interest and curiosity, you increase the likelihood that your clients are going to really understand how important this is to their therapy, and that together you can learn something from every bit of effort they put in outside of the session. Now you know you can replace homework with the spirit of curiosity, learning, and discovery. Collaborate with your clients to figure out things that they would like to do between sessions that are interesting and relevant to the issues they're working on in therapy. Begin it in session and ask them to write down what it is they're going to do and the reasons for doing it. And before they leave the session, ask them to imagine what obstacles might interfere and give them time to figure out solutions to those obstacles. All of these things will encourage your clients to do learning exercises and investigations in between sessions, and you can support their efforts by sharing your own curiosity and enthusiasm with them. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up or press the subscribe button.